Have you ever woken up from a dream so vivid it left you questioning what was real, even hours later? Maybe you've experienced a moment when reality itself felt subtly scripted, like overhearing strangers say something that exactly matches your thoughts, or walking into a new place that somehow feels impossibly familiar. In these fleeting moments, you're confronted by a deep, unsettling question. Could the world we know and trust actually be some elaborate illusion? This haunting suspicion isn't just your imagination. In fact, it's echoed by some of today's most respected minds. Elon Musk boldly asserts that the chances our universe is genuine are only 1 in billions. Philosopher Bostrom proposes an even more radical argument, claiming that if future civilizations develop realistic simulations, it's almost statistically certain we're already living inside one right now. It's a disturbing thought. Your entire life, your memories, even the emotions you feel at this very moment could all be lines of sophisticated code in a vast, hidden program. But this seemingly futuristic idea isn't new. Decades before simulation theory captured public imagination, psychologist Carl Jung explored something remarkably similar. Not through advanced computers, but through our own minds. Jung discovered that beneath our conscious awareness exists a powerful hidden force, a collective unconscious shared by all humanity. He argued that reality itself is deeply symbolic, constructed by psychological patterns he called archetypes, silently guiding our lives like an unseen script. What Jung suggested was extraordinary. We're not passive observers of an objective reality. Instead, we actively project our inner psyche onto the world around us. He famously declared, "The world and its experiences are symbolic reflections of something deeply hidden within ourselves." In Jung's eyes, reality might actually be more like a shared dream or collective hallucination, continuously generated by our subconscious minds. Those strange coincidences you've experienced, those odd moments that break the normal flow of life, they could be subtle hints from this deeper reality. Jung believed these mysterious synchronicities were meaningful signals from our unconscious, quietly urging us to notice something hidden beneath ordinary life. Imagine if this is true, if reality truly isn't the solid, reliable world we believe in, but instead a symbolic construct we all unconsciously co-create. What would that mean for our lives, our choices, our sense of self? Could understanding Jung's psychological insights finally explain why reality occasionally feels so strangely unreal? Imagine your mind as a smartphone. Your conscious thoughts, memories, and decisions are like the apps on your home screen, easily accessible, visible, and under your control. But beneath these familiar apps runs a deeper, invisible operating system that controls everything without your noticing. Carl Jung spent his life uncovering the hidden operating system within our minds, a vast, shared psychological foundation he called the collective unconscious. This collective unconscious isn't personal, it's universal, embedded deeply into all human beings across time and culture. It shapes our experiences through powerful symbolic blueprints Jung called archetypes. Think of archetypes as built-in templates or character roles, such as the hero, the shadow, the trickster, or the wise mentor, that repeatedly appear throughout history and mythology. These archetypes silently influence your behaviors, desires, fears, and relationships, guiding your life like software that runs in the background. Consider your own life choices. Why do certain themes repeat themselves, seemingly beyond your control? Why do you feel mysteriously drawn to particular stories, characters, or situations? Jung provocatively stated, "People don't have ideas. Ideas have people," suggesting we unknowingly play out roles assigned by our collective unconscious. It's as though invisible psychological scripts guide our lives. Scripts we didn't consciously write, yet consistently follow. But not all archetypes guide us gently. Jung revealed the existence of a powerful force he called the shadow, an unconscious side of our personality containing qualities we hide from ourselves, such as fears, anger, or suppressed desires. If ignored, your shadow doesn't disappear. Instead, it distorts your perception of reality. You begin seeing problems and enemies in the world around you, projecting your internal struggles outward. Suddenly, reality itself becomes distorted. A dark illusion built by unresolved inner conflicts. Perhaps Jung's most profound insight, though, was the discovery of synchronicity, meaningful coincidences that defy logical explanation. Synchronicities occur when your internal psychological state aligns astonishingly with external events, like when you're thinking of someone and they suddenly appear, or struggling with a problem and unexpectedly finding the perfect solution from an unrelated source. Jung argued these were not random occurrences, but evidence of a deeper, hidden connection between mind and matter, signs of an underlying reality we typically can't perceive. Modern science provides startling support for Jung's claims. Cognitive scientist Donald Hoffman argues that our brains construct reality as a simplified interface designed not to show objective truth but to aid survival. Just as the icons on your phone hide complex software beneath, your mind's perceptions hide a deeper, unknown reality. Synchronicities, then, could be moments when this hidden reality briefly surfaces, disrupting our carefully constructed illusions. But Jung went even further, collaborating with physicist Wolfgang Pauli to explore scientifically how mind and matter might be fundamentally connected. They proposed reality might actually be neither purely physical nor purely mental, but both simultaneously, an integrated dual-aspect universe constantly shaped by unconscious psychological forces. This revolutionary idea aligns perfectly with modern theories suggesting reality itself could be informational, constructed not from physical objects but from symbols, codes, and psychological patterns. Jung essentially anticipated today's simulation arguments, describing reality as a symbolic, psychological construct, something generated internally rather than externally observed. Yet this concept also confronts us with profound questions. If our perceptions are merely symbolic interfaces hiding deeper truths, how much of our lives do we truly control? How much freedom do we really possess? And how deeply is our reality shaped by unseen forces within us? To answer these unsettling questions, we need stories, real experiences that vividly illustrate Jung's insights, revealing just how powerfully hidden forces shape our lives. Let's explore some of these extraordinary stories now. Stories that challenge our assumptions and might forever change how we perceive reality itself. What if tomorrow morning, breaking news revealed undeniable scientific proof that your entire life, every memory you've ever cherished, every heartbreak you've ever endured, was part of an intricately detailed computer simulation? Would your love for family and friends suddenly feel less real? Would the achievements you've chased lose their value, their authenticity stripped away? These aren't idle philosophical questions. They reflect an intense debate raging within the highest circles of science and philosophy. Philosopher Nick Bostrom brought simulation theory from the fringes to mainstream consciousness, arguing logically that if even a single civilization ever developed the technology to simulate their ancestors' lives perfectly, countless simulations would follow. Statistically, that means the chances we're living inside the original reality become astronomically low. Suddenly, simulation theory shifted from a quirky hypothesis into a stark existential probability. Influential figures have amplified this unsettling idea. Elon Musk shocked audiences worldwide, stating bluntly there's only a 1 in billions chance our reality isn't simulated. Astrophysicist Neil deGrasse Tyson echoed this, placing the odds above 50%. But beneath these shocking claims lies an even deeper philosophical dilemma, one raised poignantly by philosopher David Chalmers, who insists that even if we exist in a virtual simulation, the authenticity of our experiences remains intact. Chalmers provocatively asks, if our emotions, relationships, and morality feel genuine, does the underlying nature of reality really matter? Yet long before Bostrom's computer-driven hypothesis, postmodern philosopher Jean Baudrillard already proposed something profoundly similar. Baudrillard argued we're already living in a form of simulated reality, though not one created by advanced computers, but by modern culture itself. He called this hyperreality a world saturated with symbols, images, and media, replacing authentic experiences with carefully crafted illusions. Disneyland, he pointed out, exists precisely to convince us the rest of our world is genuine, when in fact it's just as artificially constructed. For Baudrillard, we lost touch with reality long before digital simulations, caught instead in a web of symbolic illusions we unknowingly sustain. Science fiction visionary Philip K. Dick went even further, passionately believing reality itself was a computer-programmed construct decades before philosophers seriously entertained simulation theory. Dick personally experienced strange and profound visions, moments he claimed were glitches revealing a deeper reality behind ordinary existence. For Dick, synchronicities weren't mere coincidences, they were tangible clues that reality's surface occasionally fractured, exposing hidden layers of meaning beneath. Modern cognitive scientist Donald Hoffman brings fresh scientific legitimacy to these unsettling ideas. Hoffman proposes our perceptions evolved not to show us objective reality, but to help us survive, much like the user interface on your smartphone hides the complex inner workings beneath simple icons. Reality, Hoffman argues, is not what we see. It's a symbolic illusion generated by our minds to simplify the chaos beneath. From Hoffman's perspective, our brains constantly simulate reality, carefully crafting a user-friendly illusion we mistake for truth. Strikingly, Hoffman's scientific insights echo Jung's psychological revelations. Both suggest reality is fundamentally symbolic, internally generated, and shaped by hidden processes deep within us. Jung believed we constantly project inner archetypes outward onto reality, turning the external world into a mirror of our unconscious psyche. For both Jung and Hoffman, our everyday reality is less an objective fact and more a sophisticated psychological simulation we unknowingly participate in. This profound convergence challenges us deeply if reality truly is symbolic. Whether shaped by advanced technology or our own collective psyche, then understanding and navigating life requires a new perspective. Perhaps the real question isn't whether we're living in a simulation, but who or what controls it, and how we can awaken consciously within it. To grasp the impact of these ideas, we need powerful stories that vividly illustrate how fragile and malleable reality actually is. Stories that will shatter your assumptions and leave you questioning everything you've believed about the world around you. Have you ever wondered if the choices you make, where you live, whom you love, even the seemingly random thoughts crossing your mind, are genuinely yours, or if they might be subtly guided by invisible forces beyond your awareness? Perhaps we're not fully writing our own life stories, but instead following hidden scripts written by unseen hands. To understand this unsettling possibility, we must journey into stories that vividly blur the lines between reality and fiction. Stories so powerful they disrupt our understanding of life itself. Jorge Luis Borges, the master storyteller from Argentina, captured this chilling idea profoundly in his short story, The Circular Ruins. In Borges's haunting narrative, a mysterious magician dedicates his life to creating a human being, not through flesh and blood, but entirely through the power of dreams. Night after night, he meticulously dreams his creation into existence, imagining every heartbeat, thought, and feeling, until the dreamed man finally steps into reality, believing himself entirely real. But the magician's triumph soon unravels into existential horror. When flames consume the temple he inhabits, he calmly steps into the fire, expecting death, only to realize he remains unharmed. In that terrifying instant, he comprehends the shocking truth. He himself is also someone else's dream, his entire existence merely an imagined projection by another unknown dreamer. Borges leaves us unsettled, wondering, could our lives too be dreams within dreams, unknowingly authored by forces we cannot comprehend? While Borges's tale may be fictional, reality itself sometimes reveals even stranger truths. Consider the astonishing true story of identical twins Jim Lewis and Jim Springer. Born in Ohio in 1940 and separated as infants, neither knew the other existed until nearly 4 decades later. When they finally reunited, both men discovered their lives mirrored each other's with uncanny precision, far beyond mere coincidence or genetics. Each twin had independently been named James by adoptive parents. Both men first married women named Linda, later divorced, and remarried women named Betty. Both named their sons James Allen, drove identical Chevrolet cars, vacationed repeatedly at the exact same Florida beach, and even shared peculiar habits like biting their fingernails and chain-smoking the same brand of cigarettes. Scientists struggled to explain these extraordinary parallels through genetics or environment alone. Their lives resembled something profoundly surreal, as though an unseen hand had copied one life script into 2 separate realities. Jung might argue the Jim twins exemplify powerful archetypal patterns operating invisibly within our unconscious, guiding decisions and experiences far more strongly than we realize. Simulation theorists might view their parallel lives as an unmistakable glitch, a duplication error in reality's hidden code, briefly revealing the inner workings of a sophisticated simulation. Both interpretations challenge our sense of control, forcing us to reconsider whether free will truly guides our choices, or if unseen psychological scripts shape our lives more powerfully than we've ever imagined. These extraordinary stories, one fictional, one startlingly real, confront us with the possibility that reality itself might not be as solid, objective, or trustworthy as we assume. Instead, reality might resemble a symbolic drama, intricately scripted by unconscious psychological forces or hidden digital code. These stories shake us awake, compelling us to question our own experiences, choices, and perceptions. Could it be true that our lives are subtly scripted by forces beyond our awareness, guiding us toward hidden meanings and deeper truths we've never consciously recognized? Jung believed reality is symbolic and psychologically generated, something we unconsciously co-create together. Perhaps the strange coincidences and parallel stories we encounter are powerful clues inviting us to awaken consciously within this hidden psychological simulation to finally understand who's truly authoring the scripts we live by. Have you ever experienced a moment so precisely aligned, so perfectly timed, that it made you pause and wonder if someone or something might be pulling the strings behind your life? Perhaps you thought about an old friend you hadn't spoken to in years, and your phone buzzed at that very instant with their name flashing across the screen. Or maybe you were grappling with a deep personal decision, only to hear a stranger casually utter the exact words you needed to hear as they passed by. Moments like these feel impossible and yet strangely inevitable, as if reality itself was deliberately trying to communicate with you. Carl Jung called these astonishing events synchronicities, meaningful coincidences with no logical explanation, moments when the boundaries separating your inner thoughts and the external world dissolve, revealing an underlying connection normally hidden from view. But Jung believed synchronicities were far from random. Instead, he proposed they were evidence of an extraordinary truth: that mind and matter, psyche and reality, are not fundamentally separate at all, but intertwined within a deeper unity he called the unus mundus, the one world beneath our fragmented perceptions. Jung didn't explore this idea alone. He collaborated closely with Nobel Prize-winning physicist Wolfgang Pauli, hoping to bridge psychology and physics to explain synchronicities scientifically. Together, they wondered if synchronicities might reveal a causal connecting principle, a hidden mechanism linking our psychological states directly to the fabric of external reality. If true, this would mean our inner world doesn't merely interpret reality, it actively participates in creating it. Philip K. Dick shared Jung's profound suspicion that reality was far stranger than our senses reveal. Dick openly declared we live inside a computer-programmed reality decades before simulation theory became mainstream. He personally experienced vivid, inexplicable visions he believed were glitches, brief moments when the illusion of everyday life cracked open, revealing deeper truths hidden beneath. To Dick, synchronicities weren't mere accidents. They were intentional messages breaking through the illusion, clues pointing toward a greater reality deliberately concealed from ordinary view. Real-life synchronicities often feel equally impossible. Actor Anthony Hopkins once experienced this directly. Preparing for a film based on an obscure book, he searched tirelessly for a rare copy without success. Discouraged, he sat down at a subway station only to find the very book lying abandoned next to him. Later discovering this lost copy was the author's own annotated manuscript, misplaced years earlier. How can we rationally explain such impossibly precise alignment? Coincidences this extraordinary challenge our assumptions, compelling us to question if reality might indeed be subtly guided by hidden hands. Donald Hoffman, a modern cognitive scientist, provides scientific credibility to these unsettling ideas. Hoffman proposes that evolution never intended our perceptions to reveal objective truth. Instead, our brains evolved merely to help us survive, crafting a simplified, symbolic user interface hiding the chaos beneath. From Hoffman's perspective, our everyday reality might be little more than an adaptive hallucination, a shared symbolic simulation our minds collectively generate. Synchronicities then become fleeting glimpses behind the curtain, rare moments when the deeper layers of this hidden reality briefly surface into conscious view. Yet synchronicities offer more than mere philosophical intrigue. Jung observed they often emerge precisely during critical moments of personal transformation, when we're undergoing profound emotional shifts or facing challenging decisions. He believes synchronicities act like symbolic guideposts from our unconscious, gently nudging us toward greater awareness, authenticity, and personal growth. In these moments, reality itself seems to speak directly to us, inviting us to awaken to something deeper. Perhaps the boundaries between our inner selves and external events aren't as rigid as we assume. Perhaps our minds shape reality far more actively than we realize. If this is true, synchronicities become powerful reminders that we exist within a profoundly interconnected symbolic drama, co-created by the collective unconscious we all share. This realization changes how we view everyday life. Reality ceases to feel random or meaningless. Instead, every moment holds symbolic potential, carrying hidden messages waiting to be deciphered. Recognizing synchronicities as intentional signals transforms our entire existence, inviting us to live consciously, attuned to deeper truths and meanings hidden beneath life's ordinary surface. Imagine for a moment that you suddenly discover with absolute certainty that reality truly is a symbolic illusion, a carefully constructed simulation created not by some distant advanced civilization, but by our own collective unconscious minds. How would this knowledge transform your life, your relationships, your sense of purpose? Would you feel trapped by the illusion, or liberated to finally live consciously within it? Carl Jung believed the latter was possible. He offered a practical, powerful path to awakening within the symbolic drama he described, through the lifelong journey he called individuation, the courageous pursuit of psychological wholeness and authenticity. Individuation isn't simply self-improvement, it's an act of radical self-awareness, integrating all aspects of yourself, including the shadow, the parts of you hidden from conscious view, containing fears, suppressed desires, and forgotten dreams. Confronting your shadow is crucial, Jung argued, because unresolved inner conflicts distort reality, projecting internal fears outward and creating illusions we mistakenly perceive as external threats. By bravely acknowledging and integrating these hidden parts of yourself, you reclaim genuine control over your life narrative, breaking free from unconscious scripts that previously shaped your reality without your awareness. But individuation means more than simply facing your shadow. It also means learning to read life's symbolic language, consciously interpreting the synchronicities and archetypal patterns that surround you. Jung famously declared, "Who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakes," emphasizing that genuine awakening comes not from changing external reality, but from turning inward and understanding the symbolic truths hidden within yourself. When you do this, reality ceases to feel like an illusion imposed upon you, becoming instead a symbolic reflection of your inner self, one you can consciously shape and understand. Intriguingly, Jung's insights resonate deeply with ancient spiritual wisdom. Long before simulation theory or modern psychology, ancient mystics described the physical world as Maya, an elaborate illusion veiling deeper truths. Early Gnostics portrayed human souls as trapped within a false reality created by a lesser deity, urging spiritual awakening as the pathway back to truth. Jung wove these ancient intuitions into a modern psychological framework, bridging spirituality and science and proposing that reality itself might indeed be a symbolic drama purposefully created by our collective psyche. Yet Jung's greatest gift is not merely diagnosing reality's symbolic nature, but empowering us to engage with it consciously. Even if our reality is symbolic or psychologically simulated, Jung insisted meaning remains real and eternally valid, because meaning arises not from external events, but from our conscious engagement with them. Love, relationships, courage, and compassion remain entirely authentic, untouched by whether reality is digital, symbolic, or objective. Jung showed us meaning transcends reality's nature, rooted instead in our capacity to consciously choose and create it. By understanding reality as fundamentally symbolic, interconnected, and internally generated, we liberate ourselves from passive participation. Instead of blindly following hidden scripts, we awaken to consciously author our own life stories. We free ourselves from shadows, illusions, and unconscious patterns, transforming reality into a profound mirror reflecting the truths we consciously choose to embody. So ask yourself now, whether reality is digital, symbolic, or objectively real, are you living awake, actively shaping your life, courageously exploring your inner self, consciously decoding reality's hidden messages, or are you asleep, unknowingly following scripts written by unseen hands? Jung reminds us our ultimate freedom lies not in escaping the simulation, but in consciously awakening within it. The choice remains eternally yours. Will you awaken fully within this symbolic drama we call life?